working on here. This is a Com-Pac 16, and this area right here in front of the bunks here, toward the bow that way, it had a little bit of foam in here, not much. It was, I think the foam came up to about to here, way down in here. But this area needed some repair, and I thought, well, while I'm doing this, I'm going to put some storage here. And of course, this is the compression post here, and it bolts here. And this little box right here, while it is structural, it also kept the foam out from the bolts here and opens down to the keel there. What I'm going to do, the foam that came out of here has all been put forward of it right there, where there wasn't any foam hardly at all. So I haven't removed foam totally from the boat. It's still in the boat up there. But what I'm going to do, I'm going to put the foam back here, but I'm going to have a shelf above it. This is just kind of a rough template here to show you what I'm doing. But this, there'll be a plywood shelf here, which I will seal with epoxy. And that's the foam was never higher than that anyway. As a matter of fact, the foam wasn't quite that high. So I will put the foam back because that stiffens the hull, and there's a reason the foam is there besides just flotation. I'll put the foam back, the two-part foam, to add a little bit of rigidity to the hull in this area like it was before. But this is going to become storage here, and it'll end up being almost 6 inches deep, about 5 3/4 of an inch deep by that whole area. Now, I am concerned about making a hard spot in the hull here, so this will not be glassed in hard to the hull. As a matter of fact, I'll make it a bit shy of the hull, and it'll be full foam. And this will just be fastened in like this. And I think what I'm going to do as well, I'm going to just take and cut this box down 2.5 inches down right here, which is, it gets into just a tiny bit of the tabbing, but almost on the other two sides, there's no tabbing that high. But I'm going to cut this out so that this shelf can come all the way through just shy of my compression post. It'll clear the bolts, so I'll still be able to get the compression post out in the future if I ever need to. But I'm going to add it for storage. And I think it'll work fine. It'll give a tremendous amount of storage. And I'll just put a hatch. I've got to remake this top piece here, right here. And I'm going to just put a hatch in it, or a lid of some type, where I can access this storage, because it's like fantastic storage. And it's up toward the bow, which is where you typically on a Com-Pac 16 would want the little bit excess weight anyway. So I'll be able to use it for storage. For that foam up there, that was just a temporary dam, if you will, to get that expanding foam to keep it from coming this way up in the front. So that's already in there, up there. And like I say, there wasn't any up there, or almost none. So there's actually more foam up there now than there was. And I'll be adding foam back here. Anyway, I think it's going to work fine. I've just got to be careful not to imprint, this shelf into this hole here and make a hard spot there, because that needs to be able to give a bit, when you're pounding into waves, or if you hit something. This fiberglass hull can flex a bit. Anyway, just kind of thinking to myself, talking out loud here to myself, and just to show you what I'm kind of working on here. Okay, here is what I'm using in here. I decided, rather than plywood, this is a plastic laminate, but it's carbon fiber reinforced plastic laminate. It's about 1/8 of an inch thick, so it's very light, very strong, a little bit flexible, but kind of stiff, kind of like you would expect maybe 3/8 plywood to be as far as stiffness, maybe 1/4 inch plywood, but it won't rot. And it's wipe it off with a damp cloth. It's, there's nothing for it to absorb water. It's waterproof. So that's what I'm gonna put in there. And I've got on this edge back here, I've got a cleat run through this area here, as well as this area where that box was at here, that I'll be able to pre-drill and countersink some screws and put some screws into it to hold it in place. And like I said, that will be filled in with two-part foam, closed cell flotation foam type foam underneath it, solid, or as solid as I can get it without lifting the panel. And I'll take and weight that panel down good. Whenever I put the foam in, then I'll put the panel on top of it and weight it down with a battery or something, to hold it down hard. I've got my panel here fitted and foamed in. I've got it fastened with some stainless screws back there at the front, and then I've just got it weighted down. I poured that two-part foam under it and then just weighted it down good, and the foam has expanded and come out around the edges, so the cavity should be 100% full. Dry fit some cleats to support that panel that goes in here. I will epoxy these in place once I've got them all cut and dry fitted. So I just quickly added in some cleats here. I just used some scrap marine plywood that I had. I've been just hanging on to scraps for stuff like this. This is actually mahogany plywood, but it's marine plywood, and it's perfect for stuff like this. It'll be just buried and sealed in epoxy. So that's just dry fitted. I'll come back and mix up some thickened epoxy and put those in permanent. Just making up a cardboard template. Okay, that ought to be close enough. Okay, again, just dry fitting plywood here. Oh, got it turned around backwards. That's a little better. Just a little bit tight. I gotta trim it just a touch. Okay, I got it dry fitted now, so everything's good there. And I'm going to just coat the bottom of this piece of plywood here with just thin epoxy, and try to get the edges as well. Okay, I've got up my thickened here. maybe this will help for cleanup later. Just do that to catch what I can. Okay, now see if I can get this panel flipped around here without making a mess. Take the rest of my thickened epoxy and go back around and just fill in the void between the panels there good. And then clean up. Okay, so I've got the floor back in up there, and I've got it all epoxied in and epoxy coated and fiberglass tape taped around the edges where I bonded it to the other part there. So I've got fiberglass tape across all that joint. Once that's cured, then I'll come back and put all of my trim in place, and then I'll cut a hatch out to get access to that storage. And there it is with the teak trim back in. Still got to make me some bungs, put in some teak bungs and those screws across there. So what I did, this centerpiece right here used to be on top of the side pieces to hide the electrical wires. And now the electrical wires are run down underneath that shelf under there. So now it's flush. I just ripped this piece to fit and just, put it in flush. And so now I can cut out my access hatch here. I think that's what I'm gonna cut out. That's a 12 by 12, 12 inch by 12 inch, 12 inches by 12 inches. And I'm gonna round the corners like that. Okay, got it cut out. Gotta sand the edges and all that kind of thing. Up and down through the front hatch. Get a better look at it maybe. Okay, I got my little strips epoxied in for the little cleat, that the little hatch insert will rest on. I just used some 1/4 inch walnut. The color is somewhat similar to the teak, but mainly I wanted something that was fairly strong but thin, so that I wouldn't lose my height that I've worked so hard to gain in there for storage. Okay, that project's done, all except for my 6 teak bungs. I've got to drill me some bungs and put in there, cut some bungs, put in those screws right there. Turned out good. The hatch right there that comes out with 5 inch tall storage in that whole area right there now.